And that's the same for smaller businesses as well. So it's that ease of use, though.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's difficult to get out, but it's very easy to access these services in the first place. No matter how many employees you've got.
The thing with cloud, all you need is an internet access.
Yeah.
Whether that's your 4G on your phone, your home broadband, whatever it is, Wi-Fi in a hotel. As long as you've got access to the internet, you can access the cloud anywhere in the world. And that's the beauty of it. And that's, again, coming back to the COVID remark, is that because businesses got so used to people had to work from home, actually they thought, well, it doesn't matter where I am.
Yeah.
I could be on a beach as long as I've got my background blurred. My boss is not going to know. And that's the beauty of it, with putting as much stuff as you feel comfortable with and you're happy with.
Yeah.
And it won't. And a full cloud deployment doesn't suit every business. As I said earlier, a lot of businesses went full on cloud and actually realised that they can rein it back a bit, and they need to either, for regulatory reasons, so they need to bring it closer to where they are, or it just got too expensive, because that's the other side of cloud. Because cloud is so easy to use and consume, you can get very carried away.
Yeah.
And actually the bill starts to rack up, and you're suddenly thinking, how are we spending this amount of money? We're now spending way more than we ever did by running it on our own hardware.
Yeah.
So there has to be an element of cost control and budgeting and management of it as well. So you need somebody who knows what they're doing, not so much on the consumer side, because you consume what you consume, but with a business, it can get out of hand really quickly.
But that's where Shaw comes in, to be able to talk through those options and deliver those kind of tailor-made services then.
Yeah, I mean, we've got people who, we do what is called cloud assessment. So a business will say, look, we're looking at things in the cloud. So we go, right, well, what are you trying to achieve?
Yeah.
What are your problems? Let's not discuss, well, you need to go to Azure, you need to do this. Let's just find out what you want. What's your problem?
Yeah.
What are you trying to fix? And then you look at, well, what's the best cloud for them? And often with a lot of companies, because they don't have the options with other companies that we have, they'll just go, right, you need to go into Azure, you need to go to AWS, or you need to go here. We'll say, well, actually, you could do that. We can help you do that. We'll help you migrate your data. We have all those services we can get you from A to B. But actually, would you not prefer if actually your data was still kept in the Channel Islands? So we have, as I said earlier, we've got our own public cloud, which we offer to customers, and we've got customers who've got like a single server. We've got some customers who use a huge amount of our resources. And it's finding that blend for the customer. It's not just going, you need that. It's finding out what is the best solution, what is most efficient, cost effective, that is going to enable you to do what you need to do to make your business successful with the minimum of hassle. Because that's meant to be the whole benefit of cloud. It reduces a lot of the management, and because you're not dealing with hardware, all that sort of stuff. It makes your life easier. It makes your IT department's life easier if things are cloud based wherever that cloud is. And we've got customers who have private clouds, so it's hardware purely dedicated to them, which we manage it. But to them, it's just a cloud.
Yeah.
The fact it sits in the Shaw data centre in Jersey or Guernsey or Isle of Man, they know it's there, but to them it's just a cloud service, and they consume it as they would consume any other cloud, but they don't have the hassles and the overheads, but they know exactly what they're getting, and their bills are exactly the same, and they've got that sort of, they can do their budgetary forecast, they know what the commitment is. That
lack of hassle, that must be one of the key priorities for most customers, I'm thinking, speaking selfishly on behalf of myself. That's what people want, isn't it?
Oh, it is. And
little or no hassle.
And that's where Apple has been so successful.
Yeah.
When you look back, I mean, the Apple phone, we're now on version 17 just about now. So the phone's been out 17 years, and you think back, really? Is it that long ago we had the first smartphone? And they weren't actually that smart. It was a phone with a fancy screen with a few apps.
The original ones now,
I've still got an Apple III phone at home.
Okay.
I had to take the battery out because it's starting to expand. It looks a bit dangerous. But it's the same for business. The whole thing is meant to be easy.
Yeah.
So that you don't actually think about it. You just open your laptop, open your computer, and you just work. And it doesn't, as I said, it doesn't matter whether that laptop's sat on your desk at home, sat on your desk at work, take it on holiday.
Yeah.
The downside of that is that there's the expectation that people are always on. And obviously there's been a lot of pushback in recent years. And I think the UK government are looking at doing it. Certainly governments in Europe have done it, where they've now got the law is that you can't contact your employees outside of their contracted business hours. So Germany's brought that in, I think, about 18 months ago.
Yeah.
so people have got that work-life balance.
Yeah.
But the problem with the cloud is because the cloud is always there, always on.
It's easy.
It is so easy to get sucked into that, and we've all done it. We've all answered emails or whatever at 10 o'clock at night because you kind of have to. It's your job sometimes, but sometimes you just think, I'd just like to switch off.
But in terms of so businesses using the cloud services that Sure can provide, one of the other aspects I was thinking of as you were discussing it, and how easy it is for obviously businesses change and develop, and their priorities change and they expand, or they, their employees' numbers go up or down. And so their needs will change with that. But again, that's where Sure can help.
And that's the beauty of companies like us, where we've got that scalability.
Yeah.
You can scale up as well as you can scale down.
Yeah.
And again, that's the beauty of the cloud. You can go up, you can go down. It's really easy to do. People tend to go up, not come down. It can be quite more difficult coming down than going up. Okay. You can always add, taking away, because sometimes they go. But we've found that most businesses will get to a steady state. And that tends not to change massively unless there's mergers and acquisitions. But that brings its own challenges, because then you've got the original company is based in Amazon Web Services and a bit of local stuff, and then you might have the new acquired business are in Azure and a bit of local stuff over there. Then how would you bring them together? But that's where cloud can be really easy, because there's ways of migrating data between the two. Which when you had physical hardware was much and tend to be very different applications, that could be a lot more difficult. So but we've got services where we help people not only grow, but also sometimes they have to contract. And that's the beauty of some of the services we offer, and our public cloud does that, where you can just take as much as you like, and when you've stopped it, just stop paying for it, stop using it. But then if you need it again in 3 months' time,
then it can be brought back in.
Yeah.
Okay, and in terms of then, so we've spoken about how businesses' needs change, but how will the cloud change? I presume it's just constantly evolving.
I don't think my brain's big enough to answer that question.
Well, mine definitely isn't then.
But it is, and the thing is, the cloud is I think it's something I read a few months ago. The cloud will never disappear. It will now just evolve.
Yeah. Okay.
It will just get. I don't say it probably won't get bigger. It can't really. The amount of content in the cloud will get bigger, because we are just creating more and more data every single day. I think I read a statistic the other day that between 80 and 85% of individuals use the cloud every single day of their lives.
Wow, okay.
That's global population.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, there's a lot of people in the world don't have access to the internet. That means everybody else who does is probably using it every single day.
Yeah.
And business the same, and the advantage of cloud is 24/7. So you have to look at where else is it going to go. So AI is the obvious one.
Yeah.
AI is. A lot of people are quite scared about AI.
Yeah.
But I think with AI, it can enhance and benefit in the right areas. And yes, it will make some types of companies much more efficient, which means that they might not need those staff to do that, but it means they can get the staff to do something else.
Yeah.
And I've probably, most people working in business have probably used AI in some way, shape, or form. I use it quite a lot. If I'm struggling to start a document, struggling to get some ideas, then you use one of the many different AI bots, and you just type in what you're thinking about, and it will just get you started.
Yeah.
I'd never trust it, because it's still constantly learning and evolving, and you can type and you can read stuff and you just go, that's not quite right, and then you can look somewhere, no, that's not quite right. So there's a classic story of it, the trick question of you've got the chicken, the seed, and the fox, get them across the stream. Well, when that was first presented to AI, it got it completely wrong.
Oh, okay.
Because it didn't get all the nuances of why the chicken and the fox can't be on the boat, why you don't have the seed and the chicken in the boat. Got it completely wrong.
Yeah.
But then it was given a few more clues, and then it got it right.
Okay.
So AI is intelligent, but it only knows what it knows. So the more it learns, the better it will get. What AI is not brilliant at, and some people disagree, is being completely creative from nothing.
Yes.
And that's very much a human trait. Is that artists, musicians, they just get an idea from absolutely no, and probably don't know why they got the idea. Will AI ever get there? I'm not sure it ever will. But it will help people in their everyday lives. AI will become ubiquitous. Yeah. It's to an extent where you won't actually know it's there. We're all seeing it every day. You go into Amazon and you start shopping, and it makes suggestions. That's AI. So
Yes.
It's looking at what
Yeah.
you've done before, your demographics, what other people bought, and they're using AI all the time, and that's getting more and more accurate at what you're thinking as an individual.
Yeah.
Where else is the cloud going? So you've got this thing, what they call edge computing, so where you, as opposed to these big centralised data centres, you're bringing that resources and computing power closer to where it needs to be. So therefore it's more efficient, it reduces latency, because latency is obviously, if your data's sitting in a data centre, so if you're using something like Microsoft Azure, then your data is either somewhere near Dublin or somewhere near Amsterdam.
Okay.
It's not actually very close. The internet's really quick, but some things need it to be quicker. So things like driverless cars. You don't want your data to tell it to stop, to go to Amsterdam, come all the way back again. What you want it to do is to go somewhere really close, and it only does it straight away. So things like edge computing, 5G will help that. Obviously, Shoreditch are rolling out 5G networks. Hopefully, well, we are. We should be, by the end of next year, should be 5G network. Are there a huge amount of requirements for 5G currently in Guernsey, apart from the faster data speeds? I'm not sure. I don't think we have that type of business yet. But Guernsey's got to be probably, or any of the channels, ideally suited for driverless cars.
Yeah.
Because we've already got low traffic speed. We're not building new ones. I can't remember the last time we built a new road on the island. So the network's pretty fixed. And actually, if everything was driverless, we would get away from those frustrations of roadworks, because it would just flow nicely. No traffic jams, because all the cars would just flow nicely along. So that's probably the two areas I really think will be big in sort of in the next few years. AI definitely, and the thing with edge computing, most of us won't ever see it. It'll just happen.
Yeah.
It'll just occur around us, where that processing becomes closer to where it needs to be done. Therefore, it will be quicker and more efficient.
But again, we'll see the benefits probably at the end user without even realising about all those improvements that have been made in the technology behind the scenes.
Yeah, and we've all seen it over the years. Technology is constantly evolving, becoming more efficient. Not always cheaper, but sometimes cheaper. But the one place I think technology does need to go, and I think this will dramatically, it won't affect the way we work with the cloud, but the way the cloud is produced will be green.
Yes.
Because as I said earlier, there's been a lot of pushback now when obviously more and more data centres are required, because more and more data is being stored, more and more resources being stored. So you've got quantum computing. AI takes up a huge amount of resources to run a big AI model. So you need a big data centre that takes up a lot of water and takes up a lot of power.
Yeah.
So being able to run that in a much more efficient and green way is very attractive to businesses. So we often get asked about our green credentials. When companies talk to us, say, well, again, we're quite lucky in Guernsey because actually all our electricity is green.
Yes, yeah.
And that's certified by Guernsey Electric and by other people. It all comes, it's either nuclear, it's wind, or it's solar, all comes from France. So it's all certified green technology. But is what else are you doing around that? So how are you running your data? How efficient are your data centres? So we've just spent quite a lot of money obviously working through our data centres, because obviously you do one at a time, but putting in new technology to make them much more efficient so they consume less electricity. Therefore, and we ask our customers to do the same, is try to be as green as you can. So if you've got hardware, make it as efficient as possible, because then we don't charge you as much for electricity, therefore it's not consume as much electricity, not generate as much heat, so we don't need as much cooling. So it's all a sort of it's not a vicious circle, but it's a circle.
Yeah.
So the more power you put into your computers, the hotter it runs. Therefore, the more power it draws, therefore the more cooling it needs. So if you can make that more efficient, and obviously that's in the interest of the people who provide this technology as well, because everybody wants that green element to them, because a lot of boards you're now required to report on your ESG. So we're doing as much as we can. We've put in solar panels. We've got them in our building, in our offices. We're looking at putting them actually on the top of exchanges. So the actual exchange is run by solar power. There's a limit to how you can do, because sometimes the exchange draws quite a lot. It's one of the bigger exchanges. There isn't enough roof space, but we're doing it where we can. And you often see, you see the little traffic signs now, which are just poles, but they've got a solar panel on top.
Yeah.
So we're trying to do that.
So we could see things like that across the Channel Islands, the Isle of Man.
The problem I've got with the green thing is, because our power's already green, where's the incentive to be green? in terms of power, I think for most individuals and companies, there's a way of saving money. There's a return on investment.
Yeah, okay.
So the more you can self-generate, obviously, the less you're reliant on whoever's supplying the power. And I think a lot of individuals feel that way as well. I mean, it's something that we've talked about as a family is going solar on our house. But again, you've got to look at it and say, well, how much is it going to cost? What's the ROI on that? Is it going to take 15? But that's getting better. I mean, we looked at it 5 years ago, and the return on investment was 18 years. We looked at last year, return on investment was 12 years.
Okay,
just because
so it's coming down.
The solar panels are getting much more efficient.
Yeah.
But then you've got the other side of it, and then everybody's going to be moving away from, obviously, combustion engines to electric. So therefore, there's a bigger requirement for electricity. So can our grid handle that? Which is a worry for us, because obviously we consume a lot of power. We're probably one of the biggest power consumptions on the probably apart from Guernsey Electric, who generate it, because we've got the data centre, and we've got one on each island, so we can, and obviously all the exchanges that run everybody's phone systems and all the mobile masts and everything else. So we use a lot of power.
Yeah, so there's lots to consider.
Oh yes,
much more than I would have considered previously. Yeah. But in terms of looking to the future, then the cloud itself, these data centres, it's all here to stay, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Unless, can you predict what might come after the cloud? Or do you think the cloud, as we said before, is just going to evolve?
The cloud, we see the cloud, as we consume the cloud, will stay pretty much the same. There'll be more to it, there'll be more offers.
Okay.
There'll be more ways of interacting with it. I think the big change, as I said, will be how the cloud itself is run. Yeah. So I think it will move away from that big centralised data centre to that edge computing model, where it's all more local, which is in some respects is it more efficient? I don't know, because you've got more stuff all over as opposed to all together. And obviously there's always economies of scale. Yeah. But there'll always be pressure now on these big data centres unless they can be much more efficient. And lots of these places are looking at different ways to do that, whether it's water cooling, gas cooling. Also, I mean, Microsoft sunk a container with like a mini data center into the sea and ran it for a couple of years.
Wow.
So that's one way of doing it. And you think, well, if it needs cooling, why don't we just build all the data centers in the Arctic? But then how do you get your power to the Arctic, because it's dark 6 months of the year, so you can't do solar. So I think the way that data centers are run, built and managed will evolve massively.
Yes.
The flip side of that is that because of things like AI and quantum computing and our just mankind's desire for more knowledge and to be more efficient and produce more information, they've got to get faster and faster and faster to keep up with our thirst of things like AI. So it's a catch-22 situation, but there will be some breakthrough at some stage, just like there was back when they first made the chip. Somebody will invent something that will make a big breakthrough,
and then it will become standard practice. With where the end user, the general public, probably again like the cloud, like other technology, we don't even realise we're using it. No. But as you said, it will be this huge breakthrough that will change lives.
Yeah, and so go back to the Apple. I mean, you look at the Apple phone when that first came out; it was huge. And then all the other phone companies, and you look at the phone companies, have kind of disappeared off the map a little bit. Some of them slowly coming back, but really, you've got your two big players out there, and that's because Apple came up with this amazing idea of this smartphone with a colourful touchscreen that did a few things, and then now you try and spot somebody who hasn't got a smartphone, much to the consternation of most parents, to be honest, and I'm one of them. But everybody uses their smartphones now. I mean, there are some people who are moving away from them because they just want to get off the grid and get away from things.
Yeah. But as you said, we're all still using the cloud, even if you don't actually have a smartphone. Everything else, most workplaces,
if you work,
watching television.
If you work in business, if you watch TV, I mean, that's the other thing. And obviously, I mean, a lot of people have got Sky TV over here. That's going to go internet-based very soon. They're getting rid of their satellites. Yeah. You've got many more ways that you can access it. Don't want to mention it, but Starlink is very popular. I don't really see I think people use it over here because it's slightly different, and they maybe not like using other things. They just want to be a bit different. Brilliant in remote areas where there isn't any broadband. Such a good system, but now other companies are now jumping on that bandwagon as well. So the Chinese are going to launch a whole set of satellites. Eutelsat, which is a European company, they're going to launch one as well, because obviously, let's say Starlink has got a bit of a monopoly on it so far. But again, that's a massive piece, that's a huge investment. There's thousands and thousands of Starlink satellites just roaming around the sky. Well, not roaming, they go in a prescribed path, but there's literally a lot more up there than people think there are.
Yeah, fascinating. Thank you very much for coming in and talking to us. And if people want then to, inquire more about Shore's cloud services and how your team can help, get in touch directly with Shore. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, our website there's obviously the consumer and the business side of the website, all the details, all the services we already offer, certainly from a business perspective, as I say, from sort of voice products to cloud products to connectivity, mobiles, all that sort of stuff. It's all on there. Have a look. If not, there's a contact form. Just drop us an email. It goes into our sort of sales business mailbox. Somebody will pick it up and be in touch and discuss what we can do to help, because that's what we're here to do.